China has a similar money problem as the United States, except they have it much worse. Let's talk about America's problem first. The American middle class is undeniably shrinking. Both sides of the aisle agree to this, and this article by Erica Barker can illustrate as to why. She is not only a military veteran, but she is also a data scientist, and she is on this app. Her reasoning for this is the same problem that China has in droves, and it's called a slowing velocity of money. It shows how many times money changes hands within the economy over a given period, like a quarter or a year. If you want the formula, you just divide the GDP by the total M2 money stock. And Barker gives a great description on how to think about the money supply, like our body circulatory system. When blood flows freely, every organ gets the oxygen it needs, but if circulation slows, extremities go numb, organs fail, and things start shutting down. Let's just take a look at the velocity of the US money supply. As you can see, it peaks around 1997, and since then, it drops from 2.2 all the way down to its lowest, which was about 1.1, and now we're close to 1.4. But take a look at this overall graph measured from 1959 to today. You could see in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, even the 80s, when things were a bit more stable and the middle class had a good quality of life, the velocity of money was pretty high, hovering at about 1.8. But since the late 90s to today, it has been dropping, and you know what else has been declining? American middle class income adjusted for inflation has dropped. It was at 56K in 1986, and now it's at 25,000. So more than half. Let's talk about wage stagnation. Now, I'm aware wages have been rising over the past few years to match inflation, but there's something you don't know. Worker productivity has jumped 70% since 1980. That is a lot higher than the average middle class income adjusted for inflation for the same time period. And remember, there's no adjusting for inflation with worker productivity. That is a solid good that can't be watered down. And I want to hammer this home. In 1986, like I mentioned before, the middle class income adjusted for inflation was 56K, and now it's 25K. Get ready to be a little upset. The pay for CEOs has exploded to 1,460% in the last 40 years. What are they doing that's making them 14.6 times more productive than the average worker?